Alrighty, guys, and welcome back to the Rude Boys podcast, where we are in season 2. My name is Austin Robertson, and I am here with Kyle Long, the other one.
I'm the other one this time. That's you wanted to start just so you could call me the other one?
You're the other one this time. I said both of our names, and I have to tell you, Kyle, really, really important right now. I have attained cosmic knowledge. I have ascended into a new plane of existence, Kyle. A new plane of existence. I have ascended to season 2 of the Rude Boys podcast. Have you ascended, Kyle?
You paid for those seminars and you learned how to run a pyramid scheme?
No, I didn't have to pay. You don't have to pay for. Dude, come on. Like, you don't have to pay for that shit. Like, Jordan D, man, he puts that shit free.
You're gonna make a spirit science reference at the beginning of the podcast? This season 2!
Season
D
2!
Reference.
We've ascended. Blessed be Thoth. We have done it. Pyramids were built upside down. The Jews are aliens from the future. Welcome to the Rude Boys podcast, season 2.
This is what happens when I give him too much power. When I let him open a show, he just runs with it, dude. This is why I try to prevent these sorts of scenarios from happening.
Season 2 now with funny video edits whenever it's appropriate.
Yeah, I can put Jordan D clips in the beginning of this episode. All right. Well, yeah, speaking of video edits, that's what I was going to say. The first thing, we've officially switched over to YouTube. SoundCloud got a little pricey. I couldn't afford to pay the thing anymore, so they just deleted our episodes. Great. Thanks, SoundCloud.
Very, very nice of them.
Yeah, very nice of them. I put all the old episodes on Mixcloud, and then I've also thanks to Austin's funny graphical templates, I've put those on YouTube now. So they have a video and audio form. We're still going to put the new episodes on audio, too, on Mixcloud, don't worry. But I will also make video versions for YouTube, so going to have more quality.
I think YouTube is the way to go. I think it makes it more approachable for a lot of people. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. Also, just having more forms for ways to people to listen to the podcast. I mean, I don't really do iTunes, but I do also do Google Play, so it should be on there too. But I will let you know if it doesn't. Mm-hmm. We'll see what happens.
One thing we should notice: moving to YouTube comes with some baggage, which is to say, Susan Wojcicki will be listening.
Oh, Wojcicki.
Susan Wojcicki. Mike Wazowski will be listening.
Wazowski.
And Denmark will not get to hear any of our episodes.
For some reason, Denmark is not allowed.
I have copyright claims on all the videos, but it's totally listenable in every country except Denmark. It's blocked only in Denmark. Oh, the Rude Boys episode is not, though. That one's totally public. The episode with the third rates, our interview episode. I was going to bring that up because that last episode that we did was really great.
And Denmark likes Corey.
Yeah, they set aside their differences so they could listen to Corey, which I'm totally fine with that.
So, the reason I bring up YouTube and the fact that they might be listening is because for some people on YouTube, saying some things could get you in trouble. At least not, in any very transparent or, very visible way, but you could get in trouble when it comes to things like the algorithm. So I think when we do our little roundup, what has happened between now and the last episode, we should remember that it's the only important huge thing which has happened to the world has been the Backstreet reunion tour, and nothing else. Nothing that starts with a C and it ends with an Ovid.
Oh, I see
which
where you're
would,
getting. You see where you're getting at this.
Make the algorithm upset.
Yeah, we don't want to upset the algorithm. Our new YouTube overlords, because we've always played by their rules before, right?
Yeah. They don't like it when you mention the thing that everyone is talking about, but they fucking love it when I can, sneak in a Shadman or, a fucking Jordan D reference.
Yeah, dude, Susan pays you a nickel every time you mention Shadman on the podcast.
Dude, she loves him.
She's a huge fan.
Maybe she's his mom.
She's his mom! Susan Wojcicki is Shadman's mom. It's like, I'll pay you. Just get his name in the episodes. I need more people to buy my son's merch.
My boy needs to see. My boy needs an audience. So you two are the ones to do it.
I need to buy my son Shadman's skull masks. I mean, it's the best time for it, honestly, because of, the thing we can't talk about.
If he isn't selling that shit on Redbubble or whatever, Robot Shark or whatever the hell, he needs to get on that shit. What has happened since the last episode, Kyle?
Since the last episode? Are we talking about the last episode, episode 10, or the last episode, the interview special? Because the interview special was 2 weeks ago.
We'll say episode 10.
Since season 1, let's say people didn't even hear the interview episode because that was dedicated
That's
to
a
them.
special OVA beach episode. We don't have
Yeah,
to worry
okay, yeah, that's right. I remember you mentioning that. You wanted it to be the filler beach episode of the podcast, which is fine. People who didn't buy the DVD don't have that episode, but that's okay.
Yeah.
They're not really missing out on that much. Oh, that's not fair. I shouldn't say that. But yeah, this is main podcast content. This is season 2. We're doing a whole fresh new album. We got a fresh new format, sort of, and we're gonna bullshit less. I swear. I hope, maybe.
No.
No.
I didn't agree to that.
I didn't sign off on that.
Season 2, we have a rejuvenated thing. Hopefully, a better schedule. I have a new mic setup, which hopefully sounds a little better now.
Yes, you went out and bought a bunch of new mic setup. You bought some fucking foam for your walls. You bought a pop filter, all that good shit.
I don't have the soundproofing yet.
Oh, you don't have it yet? Okay.
I might be building that on the next paycheck.
Well, you still have a better setup than I do right now, so that's good. People will be able to hear you better, which is great.
My voice should sound more true to life. You said it does, so that's good.
Yes, it does sound like I'm in the room with you, as opposed to hearing sirens nonstop and you being in a closet.
So from the recent history, since the episode 10, I have moved again because I always seem to be moving around.
In the past 2 years, yes.
We've both been hit by the Backstreet Boys reunion tour.
The Backstreet Boys reunion tour hit us both pretty hard. But thankfully, I've had plenty of stuff to do from home, so I'm okay in that regard. I'm not, like hurting for money or anything.
Do you know what I saw recently?
What'd you say?
Someone else who's caught on to calling it the Backstreet Boys reunion tour.
Oh, this wasn't a you thing?
No, Aaron from Game Grumps started calling it that.
Oh, okay. We're just reusing another Game Grumps joke.
But I believe other people have started using it as well. The reason why I think other people must be using it is because one of my personal heroes, Adam Savage, I believe, was referring to it as that in one of his live streams recently.
Oh, Adam Savage said that?
Adam Savage is repeating a Game Grumps meme without knowing it, I think. Which is really funny. I'm pretty sure he was the one who did it.
It's been a weird year. 2020 has definitely been a weird year. I'm kind of glad we took a really long break this time. Not on purpose, but it ended up being really good for us because I feel more rejuvenated about the podcast, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I think we're both on our shit again. I think if we had tried to do this anytime in the last couple of months, especially me, especially a few months there, I would have been like just miserable. I don't think we were not in a place to talk about this album today, my man. This album cannot be done from a place of sadness.
Yeah, that's true. That certainly would not fit. There's a lot of good feelings about this album, which is why I'm glad you recommended it. I was going to mention one last thing. When we did that interview episode with Dylan and Corey from the Third Rates, which I do recommend people watch. I don't want to completely push people away from it.
No, we were not. We're doing fun. I think the interview episode might be one of our favorites of all time.
Yes. And that's exactly what I wanted to say. If season 2, if we really start picking up our productivity, hopefully we can do more interview specials also, because I love having guests on the show. I think it did us really good. It was a lot of work for me, but it was fun. It was really fun.
Everybody had a shit ton of fun, and anything that we can do to blast out Corey's and Dylan's names, because those boys are very talented.
Well, you know who's next on our short list.
well, we have many talented boys who we'd like to speak
Besides Shadman.
Besides Shadman, who someday will, I hope, get to do a voice line for the show.
We will meme him into existence on our podcast, even though he has no idea who we are.
I know, that's funny. That's why I love it. Someday I would like to have him do some villain voice lines for us or something, for a...
The episode cuts to black, and it's just his glow-in-the-dark skull mask appearing on the screen.
Yeah.
Rude boys.
The rude boys.
I see you.
I, the Shad Minister, rises.
Well, we'll have some voice line specials at some point during the season, I think. I think we've got some things in the pipeline coming down that will entertain and make the audience be very excited, I think.
Even if they don't like it, just the fact that I think it's funny is worth
it's worth it. It's worth its weight, It's worth the weight. Gaben, as they say.
So, big time. We like it.
Big time's coming in the pipeline. Season 2, we're hitting you off strong with an album that Austin recommended.
Hell yeah. I always recommend good albums, except for the One Sponge album that I recommend.
Okay, yeah. Except for we don't talk about that. But this is a new season, so it's a new start. Austin, I've cleaned the slate from your losses to win ratio. We're both at 0-0 right now.
This is a very competitive and antagonistic show where we're constantly trying to fight each other.
We try to pick apart the other person's picks so that they end up looking like an idiot for recommending it.
Yeah, Kyle likes Less Than Jake. Fucking stupid dummy. Only fucking babies like Less Than Jake.
We're gonna do another Less Than Jake album, hopefully this season. So you better get on it, dude.
Honestly, Dylan recommending some songs to me from Less Than Jake has kind of gotten me more into them. Some Less Than Jake when driving around town is pretty good, actually.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. But I wanted to talk about the band. You know, let's get into it.
Today we talk about another amazing choice of mine.
Another amazing Austin recommendation.
That being one band which I don't believe is too recognized even within the ska scene. I don't even know that a lot of ska fans know of this band. Band good. Band very good.
Oh, band good. Unga. Does it unga your bungas, my dude?
Dude, my ungas are like so bunga. I love that fucking dumb line that we invented can be both good and bad. What a versatile, flexible thing to say.
I mean, caveman speak was very versatile when you think about it.
Such a simple, efficient language.
Yeah. We need to go back to those caveman times, dude. They had it right back then. Where's your Facebook Live group for your caveman support?
Reject modernity, return to monkey. Anyway, we are to be talking about Le Russian Voodoo, an album by Russkaja.
Russkaja. You've been pronouncing it wrong this whole time, dude.
Russkaja.
Russkaja. You pronounce the J like a Y.
Yeah.
Can you do it? Have you ever done it?
Russkaja.
Okay, so when you've been reading their names, have you been reading the J as H's this whole time?
Yeah.
Okay, you've been doing it wrong. Yeah, so this is Russian Voodoo, a 2010 album from Russkaja. There are some mad lads from Austria. There may be a language difference, I'm going to say right off the bat, but the music is good. So, you know, just same thing with the Tokyo Ska Paradise Orchestra. If the music's good, it's not a big deal. You're still enjoying the music. And they frequently use English, too. Polish and German. They've got a diverse range.
I think I heard some Spanish in one of these songs as well.
It's multinational, for sure. But I want to get into the history. You know, we need to talk about Russkaja from the start. So they formed in 2005, and they're considered gypsy punk or ska folk. But they have a lot of metal in elements as well. The band themselves once referred to it as, let me get this exact wording, Russian Turbo Polka Metal. That's what they call it. They have a wide variety of sounds in this band.
To be fair, like, you know, Oktoberfest is very German, but this is an Austrian band, which is like, is Austria like the Canada to Germans' America?
I don't know if that's the case.
Some turbo polka sounds like it'd be one hell of an Oktoberfest band. Is all
I
I'm
love
saying.
the sound of turbo polka, dude. But even if they're Austrian, Georgie has some very Russian influences in the way his manner of speaking and his manner of singing. You know, it's very, he adopted their culture, much like everyone else kind of blends together. This is a melting pot style of band, which I think is great.
Yeah.
And they also, much like Suburban Legends, they are best experienced live instead of studio recordings.
For sure. I think this band, something about this band, I think we both know Georgie. I think Georgie is, undeniably, like, the soul of the band. Like, this boy is the band.
Yeah, he's such a hell of a frontman, dude.
That's not to put down anyone else, mind you. Like, everyone else is very talented as well. But he is, like, for sure the face. And the way he sings, the way he does things on stage, I don't know that I know another ska band that has quite the stage presence that Russkaja has.
Yeah, I was definitely going to mention that because, when I get into the character profiles in a bit, I will talk about Georgie. I was going to say their best experience live because you can feel their energy in full force, and especially when it's in a packed audience. Because you say not a lot of people may know them, but dude, they have huge crowds. They draw hella crowds. People love this band, dude. I've seen all the live performances, and it's always packed, always.
And that's good. I want for sure to anyone who doesn't know about Russkaja needs to do themselves a favor and just like get on that shit right away.
Well, that's what we're here for. You know, we're here to entertain and inform the people and also talk about a pretty cool album. So, okay, before we start the album, now I will talk about the actual band members. I may mispronounce these, but we're going to have a fun time reading these names. So, here it goes. I looked up the album first to try to find credits of the members who were on this specific album, but I didn't find any specific album credits, so I'm going to name the current members and then there's 2 people I know who did play on this album that are not in the band anymore. So obviously Georgi Makazeria is the lead vocalist, and he has a huge smile. He's like always smiling in every video I've seen of this dude. He played in several musicals. He's clearly a theater kid. He's got stage presence. He really loves to perform. And here's a fun fact. He took home 3rd place on a dance competition show in Austria called Dancing Stars back in 2016. So he's also a really good dancer.
Even if you're not like the greatest dancer, if you have enthusiasm, you can really fill in the gaps.
Absolutely. He's got enthusiasm up the wazoo. So there you go. There's the lead vocalist. Engel Meyer is on guitar. He's been in a couple bands, including Hallucination Company and Bastard Peels.
2 very good band names.
Yeah, Bastard Peels is described as Austrian grindfuck. I don't know what that means, but that's a genre of music.
A very good genre of music name.
Yeah, right? He's a good guitarist, too. Dimitri Miller is the bassist, and he's a founding member alongside Georgi. So he's been in the band since the start from 05. And the violinist is one I do know changed recently. The violinist on this album is Antonia Alexa Georgiou. She played from 2008 to 2012, so she was in that when this album was recorded. But in September 2019, as of the modern new band that we also saw in their live performances this year, is Lee Sophie Fisher. Both are extremely talented ladies, and they bring a lot of fun to the band. Their strings are some of my highlights, actually. Some of the violin work are amazing. So shout outs to Antonia and Sophie Fisher.
Yeah, incredibly unique instrumentation for a ska band.
Yeah, I don't think any of our albums that we've covered so far have had a violin on it. This is the first one. Probably has something to do with the folk band style.
Yeah, there's definitely another instrument on here that has not been in any other band that we've talked about.
Yeah, we're getting to that right now with the horn section. Rainer Guternig is on trumpet, so he plays trumpet, and his brother, Hans-Gael Guternig, is on tuba and potit. So, you want to tell people what the potit is?
Are you going to pronounce it potit? Is that what it is? It probably is potit.
It's a combination of trumpet and trombone. So I'm only hearing the T sounds. I'm not hearing potit. But I'm going to say petite just to make it easier.
I believe Mr. Gutenberg here had an Austrian maker of musical instruments.
Yeah, they make brass instruments.
I believe he had them specifically commission this instrument, so it might be the only one in existence, and he's the one who plays it.
I haven't seen anyone else have one, so yeah, I think you're right. I think he had them commission a combination of a trumpet and trombone, and he is the one who plays it.
It's a very interesting looking instrument.
It's got like this weird curve to it.
Yeah, so that he can play the keys that are on the side.
That's so cool.
It's very cool. I can't think of anything that's cooler to have as a brass musician as like a one-of-a-kind instrument like that.
Oh yeah, it's spelled P-O-T-E-T-E, so people who don't see the picture can look it up.
Super cool. We like crazy shit like that.
I especially love brass, so I'm glad that somebody on here is on top of their shit. Like, he thought to himself, like, man, I wish I could play trumpet and trombone at the same time. Why hasn't anyone made anything like that? I know a guy in Austria who makes brass instruments. He could just make it for me.
It's interesting too, because I think in the actual tracks you can hear in the brass section that there is an instrument that doesn't sound quite like a trumpet or a trombone.
Or a tuba.
Yeah, so it's a perfectly unique instrument.
So, and then there's one more person that we haven't mentioned. There's on this album is a guy named Titus Vadon. He's on drums in this album, but as of 2020, Mario Stubler does drums, and they're both really energetic, as most rock drummers are. He's more of a rock drummer than a folk drummer for this band, and you can tell. It fits though. It fits the band. And that's everything. That's all 7 people in the band.
That's the greatest accomplishment, I think, of Russkaja, is the fact that it's so diverse and so different and has all this weird shit happening, but not one thing in it can you be like, that doesn't fit. Somehow, that shit comes together.
It all fits.
It's really great.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into it. But before we talk about Russian Voodoo, I wanted to really quick mention 2 other albums that I listened to that they recently put out. Cosmopolitan Turbo in 2017 was pretty good. I listened to it after this, and then I listened to No One Is Illegal in 2019. That album I listened to them in preparation for this one, and I gotta say, they kind of kicked it up a notch in the past 10 years. I actually liked Cosmopolo Turbo better than this album. No One Is Illegal is pretty good too. It has some cool music videos out. If you look up No One Is Illegal, Russkaja, their production value is insane now. So I just wanted to mention those real quick. I'm not sure if you listened to those albums yet.
I remember I listened to No One Is Illegal right when it came out.
Okay, yeah, so last year.
I haven't gone into Cosmo Turbo, and neither of them are fresh in my mind.
That's fair, yeah, so we don't have to bring them up. But just for the audience, just for their sake, this album is 10 years old. So if they want to listen to newer shit, they have put out newer shit since then.
And it's great that you have listened to it and, think it's an improvement.
Yes,
it's great to have a band that is, constantly improving and finding new ways to do things.
Absolutely. So obviously when we talk about older albums, I still like to talk about, the band today, because some bands are still around. So by all means, support. If you like what you're hearing now, go listen to the new shit, Yeah,
I think I'm definitely gonna buy some merch or something.
Oh, for sure. They, what was funny? I was watching the live performance that they did in June, the Unplugged, and they have donate to our bank account in the thing. They said the tickets are free, but if you can donate, by all means, we have a PayPal. You can send us money, which is great. Obviously for a band, it's hard to perform live right now, and they're a live band. So I kind of want to donate to them right now, actually.
Yeah, totally. Throw them some money, dude.
They draw huge crowds. I feel bad for them.
We cannot lose Russkaja.
No, we cannot lose Russkaja. We need them.
We can't lose them to the Backstreet Boys.
More than ever. Not to the Backstreet Boys, no.
Not like this.
Can you imagine a double header where they play at the same concert?
Battle the bands, 2 opposing stages.
Yeah! Like fucking Scott Pilgrim where they're right across the stage from him.
Who will garner the larger crowd now?
I think Russkaja would still beat him, honestly. I think as soon as people hear what they're hearing from Russkaja, they turn their heads, they whip around, like, what? What is that? I want to go over there.
Georgie would start kicking, and everyone would just be like, whoa, look at him go. He's doing it.
You know what I like to kick to the beat to, Austin? It's the first track on the album, Ras Dwa Tri.
Народ смелее, для вас заводит группа Russkaja. Эй, девчата, эй, ребята.
If you don't know, that means 1, 2, 3 in English.
Yeah, that's the obvious thing, it's literally just counting 1, 2, 3. And I did my due diligence. I looked up the lyrics, and it's just a song about getting people to dance and counting to 1, 2, 3.
It's a very generic party song.
Yeah, but it's a good opening track. And this is a hell of an opener. I mean, it introduces the band, it gets people to dance, it's not that hard to understand. It's a great go-to song for the album to introduce your friends to. I mean, Ras Dwa Tri is great.
So in my notes, I have written down, basically Ras Dwa Tri is amazing.
Oh, you're gonna have a hard time with this album, dude. I can already tell just by how you pronounce that.
It's amazing for the fact that when you listen to it for the first time, it's immediately apparent that it's like, oh, well, this is not a typical ska band or a band in general.
No, yeah, not at all.
It's so perfectly emblematic of what you're about to get for the whole album.
I love that. It says everything about the band you need to know in 3 minutes. Speaking of which, every song on this album is a tight, 3 minutes. Nothing goes over 4 minutes. Everything's short on this album. I love it. I love albums like this.
The longest song is exactly 4 minutes. I believe there are 14 tracks. Ras Dwa Tri is great. It does the thing. I was talking to this with Dylan when we were doing some critiquing before, but I think the first song in an album needs to kind of ease the audience into it, and this one does a great job with kind of a slow atmospheric start.
This song?
Yeah, it has, if you remember, it has it's all violin at the beginning.
Yeah, in the intro, before he starts kicking. Ras Dwa Tri!
Yeah, and then they do the actual counting and get right the fuck into it after that.
Yeah, the drum beat kicks in and it gets fucking hype as hell.
This song has got amazing pacing in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing I love about Russkaja. Some of the things I'm going to talk about in these early songs are things that'll happen later in the songs, because the quality is so consistent. But the pacing of songs that Russkaja has is so good.
That's one thing that we can definitely attribute to them being a folk band, because the structure of songs is very different in folk music from what we've ever seen before, The way they handle pacing is different they have time for more breakdowns, and they have time for more, experimental stuff that we don't see in a lot of other bands.
Yeah, and I love that shit, dude.
And they make time for it in short songs, too. Multiple different kinds of sections of songs can be held within 3 minutes. It's really, I wish more bands took after this kind of stuff.
And yeah, the only other thing that I think is interesting for this song is the fact that it's your first time, if it's your first album you're listening to this, it's your first inclination of how Georgie sings. He's a good showman, but he's a really great singer, I think.
Yes.
And he's able to do, as you'll see later in the album, he's able to do like really nice, proper singing, but then he can also really grab that guttural stuff and go in on
his
it.
shouting, and his good.
So it's like the sound of the band is big and grand, but it straddles the line between like raw and produced.
And that has a lot to do with how much of a theater kid he is. He's got pipes.
It does it perfectly. So it's not like one of those bands where it's like, this doesn't sound produced enough and it doesn't sound raw enough to be any good. Like, it's just weird. This is like them straddling that line perfectly.
There are some production notes I do have in later songs, but this one is almost perfect. And so much so, it's my number one on the album, Austin.
Already, my dude?
This first track is my number one on the album. I love Ras Dwa Tri.
I'm glad for you, dude, but...
You know how much I value a strong opener, dude.
Not even my top 5.
This isn't even in your top 5?
No.
Oh my god, that's saying, I'm excited to hear it. This might be more like the Slackers, where we have a variety of different songs in our top 5s.
Yeah. I mean, we both recognize amazing talent, and we both like it, but when it comes down to the divvying out preferences, I think we have different things we like most.
That's great. Dude, I'm excited for season 2. This is a good start already. If Ras Dwa Tri is what we're starting off, I'm excited. So, all right, let's get into the next track then. You want to introduce Da Mama?
Da Mama is track 2. That stands for Yes, Mama.
Yes, mommy.
Yes, mommy.
The horns are fucking wild on this track, dude. This would be a good time to talk about the horns. I was about to say the petite.
The petite.
The petite.
Talk about the petite.
Talk about the petite, please. I want to hear more.
Please talk about the petite.
Yes, we will. All right.
Do it.
Do it. A lot of this album is high energy jams, right? Like you can.
Yeah.
These songs were made for dancing in a big room, so it's hard to like relax when these songs come on. Like listening to this album in like a small room or with headphones by yourself is like just not the way to listen to it.
It's not the way, and you're going to be sitting in your chair bouncing up and down.
Yeah, you can't not move.
It's impossible.
They mentioned this. I rewatched Pick It Up the other day, and they mentioned, I remember the bit where there's always going to be one guy in the crowd that's like leaning perfectly flat, not moving, and then when a high energy song comes on, he starts nodding his head.
That dude does not exist in a Russkaja audience.
No, yeah, they'd kick him out.
He couldn't possibly exist. It's like a law of nature. It's impossible.
Anyone will dance to this. Da Mama has fucking high energy. It's got his favorite. This is the first song where he starts screaming oi oi ois. So Da Mama starts with that. Get ready for ois. There's gonna be a lot of ois. I had a hard time considering if this would make my top 5, and it didn't quite make it. It made number 6. But I love the horns a lot, and I love the There's one thing I noticed towards the end. His little Freddie Mercury Bohemian Rhapsody-esque Mama Ooh. I didn't even notice that until yesterday.
I can't believe you didn't.
Yeah, no, I've listened to this album so many times. I didn't just notice that was a Bohemian Rhapsody. Ooh.
He really loves to like sneak in like Western like references in his music.
Yeah, he does.
Because he does it in the very next song too.
I feel so stupid. I didn't notice. Yes. The next song is amazing.
I love this song a lot. Really high energy. The horns are moving fucking fast, dude.
Yes.
Those are fast horn lines that they're playing.
Hell yeah, dude.
Like, as a trumpet player, I know how crazy it is to try and hit.
Oh, you can say that now.
notes.
That's something that happened in between the last episode. You picked your trumpet back up.
Yeah, I've been playing it again more, but like, I can't tell. I mean, the tempo is high on this one already, but like these trumpet players, there's the petite player, like I don't doubt that they could hit 16th notes like it's nothing. Just be like fucking nuts. They're great.
Well, Rainer's on trumpet. I know HG is on the petite and the tuba, so he plays the lower stuff. But the trumpet is definitely Rainer.
The song is definitely an example of, this is made for a live audience, obviously.
Yes, yeah. I want to stress that when I was listening to this album for review, feel like I was doing it wrong.
Yeah.
So I've danced to it plenty of times, don't worry. I have, but it feels weird. That's why I said listening to this in studio recordings, it feels like it takes some of it out. You need to hear this band live. That's the point.
Yeah, and this song is also with the whole like Bohemian Rhapsody referencing and all that, and just Georgie and I think other people in the band, they don't care about like what is weird or cool on an album. They want to have fun, so they do like silly voices in this song and do like weird shit.
There's another one in track 4 we'll bring up.
It's all fine. It's all good. Still not a top 5, but I like it a lot.
Okay, so this one doesn't make either of our top 5s. That's fine. So let's move on. I mean, this has got to be a big one. Track 3, Change.
Oh, God, Change. Change is one of the ones I listened to a lot when I first picked up the band.
Mm-hmm. It's a big single.
I like a song with a nice narrative to it, and this one's very simple. It's a really good theme.
It's in English.
It's in English. You can sing to it.
Besides the chorus, yeah.
The opener on this one is really good. The bass drum into the verse at the beginning is like super clean. I really like the fact that after like the first verse, I think all of the brass do like a response to Georgie, where they just go like, they go bwomp bwomp bwomp. I love that shit. It's great. Well, that specific brass thing's in the next song, but they do a call to him on this one, which is super clean.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're thinking of the next one with that brass part.
But they have a similar response in this one, which is very good.
I mean, this song's a lot of back and forth.
A lot of back and forth. The group singing,
Yeah,
ring the
check it
bell,
off.
group singing. Change. This band is great for group singing. It really
Yes.
takes all of my boxes.
Gee, I wonder why Austin recommended this band. It's another big band. It's got group singing.
And this one has Georgie, like we said, singing in English. We get another Western song reference near the end.
Yeah, the song is about how he had to change his life to portray American culture, and now he's got the blues.
He moved to a new place and is assimilating.
Big hit at live shows, though, alongside another track later on.
He had to change his product for the New York Times.
People love change. It's got chanting breakdowns, but it does just kind of end suddenly at the end. I've noticed that there's not really much of a fade out at this one. It just kind of ends.
Sometimes it's just like, okay, song's over. It's gone.
Yeah, I mean, we discussed that on the interview episode. A lot of bands, it's hard to know how to definitively end a song because it's different. There's so many variables. Good news is this hits my number 2.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good.
Yeah, Change is my number 2. Right after Ras Dwa Tri, I find myself singing this one a lot. And God, the horn line is so great. It's so catchy.
He changed his vodka for the whiskey. It's pretty good.
That's for McDonald's.
Change my click. I don't even know what the fucking...
My
I don't know what
McClunky.
it is.
Yeah.
The,
Oh, this had a music video, too. This has a great music video,
Oh, yeah.
also.
There's a tiny violin solo in it, which is very nice.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. We forgot to mention
Yeah.
the Pretty Woman bit.
They had the Pretty Woman American reference, like I said.
Yeah.
And then they went into a violin solo.
Yes.
And Gregorgi, he does his like, oh, all during. It's great.
Gork.
It's great. Yeah, Gorgie from The Black Cauldron is in this.
Oh, great. There he is.
Yeah, I wish I could do the impression because that'd be very
I've never
funny.
seen Black Hole. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, me and you're gonna have to
no.
deal with that later. But
I'll find it and put it in the episode.
so yeah, this one would have been my number 6. It just lost the 5th place for me.
Oh, okay. So this was like your Damama of your list. Okay.
Yeah, so it almost made it.
Man, I'm curious to see what you get in your, what you squeeze into your 5 because I already have my 1 and 2 figured out.
Ooh, so mysterious. What will it be?
Ooh. It's almost like there's 14 tracks. There's a lot to pick from. It's hard to nail it down to 5 sometimes.
Anyway, I think we both agree. I think we both agree. I don't know if there's a bad song on this album, dude.
There is one I wrote in my notes, debatable skip.
Interesting.
I said that, but there's no skips. No, there's no bad songs on this album. I said there's one that is debatable.
So I want to talk about the next song, which I believe translates to Waves and Me.
Yes, Wolna I ja.
Wolna I ja.
В море стою по колено, меня ласкает волна. Приплыли вслед за туманом И растворились вдалеке все дела. На-на-на-на-на.
So this here, I'm just gonna come out and say it. My number 3. This one is.
Wow, okay. Was not expecting that. I think
Yeah.
this is a just perfectly fine song. It's not that memorable in my opinion, but go on.
I think this one is one of the more memorable ones on the album, dude.
Wow, okay. Different opinions. Let's go. Let me hear it.
One thing to know about me, the theme for the song here is all about just like wanting to be on the open ocean and sea and sailing around and being
Yeah,
a boy.
standing knee deep in the sea, the waves caressing over me. I looked up the translated lyrics.
Yeah.
There's also a verse about becoming a sea captain and
Yeah.
sailing the seas. So there's
Yeah.
pirate energy in this, and who do I know who likes pirates?
It doesn't,
Whoa.
not even specifically pirates. I didn't get any piratey stuff from this, but
Yeah, yo.
I do love One Piece. But more importantly,
Sorry.
I do, for some reason, I'm very drawn to being on the open ocean. I really love it. So like this theme works for me big time. Unsurprisingly, Admiral Stonewall, big into open ocean.
Oh, yes, of
Love
course,
it.
the Admiral, right. I was going to say, I do like this song as a chance to catch your breath after change, and the other high-energy songs that came right before that. I do think, in terms of album sequencing and pacing, it is good there, in that regard,
Yeah.
but it certainly does not make my top 10.
It's
There you go.
not the top 10. It's in the
Not
bottom
even in the
4.
top
huh?
10, no, yeah. There is one really weird bit I want to talk about, the little Russian doll girl voice.
yes.
That is, I looked up a live video, that is Alexia singing that. So that's her on the record.
I think here's what I've got. So the tone is different, obviously, from the first 3 songs on the album. Where the first 3 songs were like really momentum filled, this one is more metered out and has a really interesting like staccato backing to it. Mm-hmm. This is one song on here that feels most like you're just in a pub with a lot of people, which obviously appeals to me. So the atmosphere on this one is thick, and I'm big on it.
It's almost like this band does well when it's surrounded by a lot of people.
Oh yeah, the bass backing here between
Yeah, Dimitri's bass. Yeah.
the Dimitri's bass and the drums are like so deep on it. It really forces you to move. I really like it for that.
Grabs you by the back of the head and just move, damn it.
Yeah. So I don't know. Something about the sound is just really cool to me.
And this is your number 3?
Yeah. The
Wow,
violin
okay.
and the brass melody that comes over the first verse is really tight. And like I said, the Alexi, her little singing, the only 2 lines,
Alexia,
the only lines that are like that on the album. It sticks out as a weird thing, but I really love it. It's really good in this song.
Really? Oh, you find it very endearing, huh?
I find it endearing. They edit in. They do this a couple of times in the album. They editing like the clinking of bar glasses, so it enhances that atmosphere that I was talking
That's
about.
right. Oh, this is an Austin. I'm so stupid. I didn't
Dude.
think this would be in your top 5.
So
of
like
course.
they edit in bar ambiance, and then she
Yeah.
does her little line, and then they edit in like the other band members or people who would be in the bar being like, oh yeah. So I fucking love that, where it's like she says one line, they're just like and she adds the other one, they're just like we get it, we're in
Oh,
agreement. I love that shit. It's really funny. It's funny and endearing and weird, but I really like it.
All right, so Wolna, yeah, is a big winner for Austin.
I just really like it. So for me, it's a total winner. It's really memorable. It's got a great theme that I love and lots of elements that are perfectly built for me as a person.
I think there's plenty of tracks I like more than it, but I'm glad that it exists. It's certainly it's a great as a pace breaker, like we mentioned. So after the first 3 tracks, having track 4 be the pace breaker is perfectly fine. I do like how this album is sequenced. I will say that.
Heading on to the next thing in sequence, I think maybe, I don't know what you'll think about this next one, but this next one is probably, to me, the way you felt about the Wolna, yeah. The next song is Hammer Drive.
Hammer Drive is track 5. It is repetitive. It goes on a little too long, which is hard for me to say because a lot of the other tracks are, short and tight. But I do love the bass on it. I like the bass on Hammer Drive, and it's got some more Georgie chanting. This is the 4th longest song on the album because when they're all around the same length, I had to differentiate them somehow. I had to go down and sort them by length.
Yeah, it's hard for us as non-native speakers of the language here to. Sometimes it could be hard that some of the tracks will kind of flow into each other just because we don't have lyrics to kind of separate them out.
Yeah, there are lyrics for only few of these tracks, so it was hard for me to find them for all of them. I'm sorry, everyone in Austria listening to this podcast and being like, oh man, they didn't even find the lyrics for Hammer Drive. Oh, come on.
Come on.
I tried, man. What other redeeming aspects? The chorus kind of reminds me of Hava Nagila. It reminds me of that.
Okay.
And they snuck in some fucking Mozart at 152.
Yeah.
They snuck in the Turkish March, Rondo a la Turca. They're doing it on the strings. Obviously, classically trained violinist, of course, you would. But I think he says something there, like, play something classic, will ya? And then she plays Turkish March. Because I hear, like, something classical, will ya? I couldn't tell exactly what he was saying.
I think this is the song that might be hurt the most by not being done live. Not that it's an amazing song. I think it's one that has almost... It's got the fewest redeeming qualities when not in a live audience.
Yeah, again, we're listening to this from a studio perspective, so some of that stuff is going to be lost. If this is your favorite song live, that's great, dude. Yeah. You've seen him live, congratulations. I wish I was you. But I have not, so hearing Hammer Drive is just kind of like, can we get on? Can we move on?
With the thick accent that our boy uses, Hammer Drive... we drive the hammer.
Hummer. He drives a Hummer.
Yeah, we drive a Hummer. We drive a Hummer. Yeah. So it's like I've always pictured Georgie driving a big fucking like Hummer 3 around in this stupid fucking thing.
He's doing donuts in the dirt in a commercial.
This song is the first one on the album that has a very heady and like heavy sound to it.
Yes.
It's very metered and constant, which typically I'm not a big fan of in music.
I like that kind of stuff, typically. But this one just wasn't for me.
It's not as interesting as the other stuff.
It does build all right. It builds well.
Yeah, it builds okay. We get some silly stuff. That's the main interesting thing is we get some silly stuff where like we have other people in the band coming in to sing some lines. Like there was a whole verse that wasn't Georgie. And then I'm assuming it's just the male band members doing female voices for like the groupie ladies who come in at one point in the song.
I just listened to this yesterday, but I can't remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's a point where in the song, I think Georgie, it might be when he says, "Let me hear you." And I literally think it's just the male band members doing like a female voice and be like, "We drive the Hummer."
Oh,
we drive the Hummer. And then just repeating it with the chorus.
Maybe one of those is Alexia.
Maybe. It's very silly. It's like the only interesting thing on the song for me.
This doesn't make your top 5 then.
No, nowhere fucking close. It's not a bad song. It's just not as good as the other songs on the album.
It would be cool to hear it live, like everything else on this album. But
yeah.
Now I feel depressed that we haven't.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's just a spacer. It's unfortunate it's as long as it is, frankly, but
yeah, coming after, I like Volna better than Hammer Drive. So you want to move on to track 6? Or you got anything else to say?
No, I think we're heading on to the next one.
All right, so Gulaj Duscha.
Or Walk Soul.
Gulaj Duscha. It's a Y.
English, Walk Soul.
Yeah, Walk Soul was the translation I found, so I'm not sure if he's telling a soul to walk, or if the soul is a walking type of soul, like a soul who walks.
I'm
not sure what
assuming,
that means.
As I checked, there is no lyrics available for this in English.
No, there's not. We tracked.
I would assume, using my imagination and the themes that are present in other songs, that he's talking about like having wanderlust or being a wanderer, being a soul who wanders.
Oh, I see.
Being that kind of
yeah,
boy.
that makes sense. Wanderlust. I completely forgot about that.
This one has amazing momentum right out the gate. Like,
that's a great start. I said very intense. Great start. I love that. You know me.
The start is quick and fast, and then when the vocals start in the first verse, it kicks down in tempo and becomes slower. So he sings slower versus while the tempo is going fast in the background. This is my number 4.
Oh, okay. This one makes your top 4.
Yeah.
Oh, man. This is another one that got really close, actually. This would probably be my number 7. I really like the sick breakdown with the strings at like 2 minutes in. Mm-hmm. But I do feel that the drums are kind of mixed poorly. There's some mixing things in here that I would have toned up. I know you say you don't really notice that kind of stuff, but I notice it.
Yeah, I don't notice it too much. I mean, you get in the guts when you are editing other stuff, so it's like you'll notice.
Yeah, of course. When I listen to this stuff, I like pause and listen. Could that have been done better? I do that all the time when I'm listening to music with a critical eye. I'm like, I feel like that could have been better. So I said it doesn't sound as competent as some of the other tracks, but I like its potential and the ideas in this song. I think it sounds really cool. but it doesn't make my top 5. It's about the halfway point in terms of the good and the not so good on the albums.
For me, reasons why, especially after the last song, that was so heavy and steady, just really consistent with the tempo. There's like not a lot of interesting stuff.
Yeah, right after that, it's pretty good.
This song immediately has quick tempo, slow tempo on the chorus, and that tempo changing gives the song just like a more interesting and nice texture to it.
It's great, right? It's a great comeback after that.
And Georgie's vocals, the way that the chorus is written, where it's like this really lovely like soaring chorus.
Oh yeah.
Fucking love that shit, dude. So I love a rising soaring chorus. Yeah, so I definitely have things I like in music.
I can't blame you. It's a good track.
Our violinist is going like really fucking hard on this song, dude.
Yeah.
And the guitar has got some really nice reverb on it. The violin going fucking hard and then heading into a nice reverberating guitar line is like sick.
This is just like Slackers, dude. There's no bad band members in here. Everybody's pulling their weight. 7 people, and they're all really fucking talented.
So yeah, totally easy number 4, super easy.
Yeah, the only problem I have is the mixing, and I think it's not as competent. That's all. It didn't quite make my top 5, but the way the song is structured is great. I love that. So let's move on to track 7, Swoboda.
Человеку свобода, когда его тянет на дно. Пусть говорят, жизнь сурова, не каждому суждено.
This one means freedom in English.
Ooh, nice. We got another sick violin solo in the very next track. So we got 2 in a row. This one is very close to being a single. It's very strong.
This one has to be in your top 5, surely.
I like the way it's paced.
Oh, come
the techniques.
On, dude.
Let me finish.
I didn't finish.
I like the way it's paced and the techniques that Georgie uses to vary up his singing. You know, he really puts a lot into the song in different places, and you can feel that. But it's just not quite as catchy as I'd like it to be. It's a good song overall.
I think you're insane.
I really like it.
I think
but
you're
no. Let me hold on. I've got plenty of good stuff to say about the tracks after this. But tell me about Swoboda now, because it does not make my top 5.
You don't think Swoboda is very interesting?
Swoboda. No, that's good.
This is my number 2 on the album.
Oh my god!
You absolute
Austin.
Lunatic. All right.
I'm a lunatic. I'm the crazy man. All right, tell me why Swoboda is so good. Besides that,
the bass is really bouncy, dude. This is one of the ones that is like the hardest to sit still to.
That's true.
And this is, again, like you said, like Hammer built up nicely. I don't think Hammer built up really at all. I felt like it started flat and didn't go anywhere. Swoboda is one which does get bigger and expands and builds up throughout the whole song.
Yes.
And it doesn't do it quickly. It does it slowly, but it does it at a pace, and it does really grow as it gets going.
It takes its time, and it's still really good. Maybe I could tie this for my number 7. I think it belongs pretty close to Da Mama. I think in terms of just how good it is.
It's the same reason I like the song before. It's the same reason I like a Gulash so much.
Gulaj.
Yeah, Gulaj. Gulaj Duscha.
Yeah, Gulaj Duscha.
It's got a really grand and elevating kind of chorus. It's got the same soaring effect to it. The melody is just really good, and the brass is not holding back at all. The brass is really bumping on this one too. And I thought that, I'm sure you probably noticed, but Russkaja is not less than Jake. They don't harmonize vocalists very often, I don't think.
No.
They do in this one. This song has got a rare instance of Greg, of Gorge, of Gigi, like harmonizing with another bandmate for a lot of the song, and it's really good in this one.
Yeah, like I said, I like the vocal techniques that they use in this.
It's really good. And then our boy has the breakdown, and he does a really fucking intimate, like sexy chorus right into the mic. And it's just fucking good, dude. It's so fucking good. This is an easy number 2, my man.
Wow. Okay. I'm glad you have so much good things to say about Swoboda, because I have good things to say about the rest of the album, because the next stretch of the album is not my favorite, obviously, because my number 1 and 2 are out, but I really like the next few songs. I feel like I did when we were doing the Slackers episode, where I was just like, I'm chomping at the bit. Like, can we talk about the second half of the album, please? Because I want to talk about number 8. I want to talk about Nikogda.
Побереги ты нашу любовь, ну а я за нее постою, не сдаюсь, навсегда я с тобой.
Here's the thing. We're never going to talk about it. Nikogda stands for never. It's what it means in English.
You're doing that, yeah. I wrote in my notes, Nikogda roughly translates to never.
Finding some of the translations for this stuff is really difficult. I remember I still don't know what the fuck Ogonki means. I'm just going to here's a spoiler for that.
Ogonki translates to the lights.
That's what I found out. That's what I went to eventually.
Okay, but...
at least I understand what tractor probably translates to, so that's fine.
Traktor, yeah.
Anyway, Nikogda.
Yeah.
Nikogda stands for forever.
Never. Translates to never.
Never. It stands for never. I think I like it. It's got a moody opening. I like moody openings.
It has lyrics I could translate for once. It's about not giving up on a relationship, even when it gets difficult to communicate. And I wrote here, the chorus says, "It won't kick us out of the saddle." That's what the chorus says.
I mean, that's a great theme. That's a really good theme.
It's a good analogy. This one sinks its hooks into you really early on.
Yeah.
Georgie kind of whispers to you, and he keeps you engaged, all the way through.
It's got some intimate vocals. It's got a moody opening. And I love it when our boy here is, like, actually doing... I like it when he sings more than he screams. I like it a lot.
Yes, yeah, there's plenty of that in this and another song up ahead. The horns do a great job complimenting him, too. And they have some great call and response type moments in this song. It's super folky, and oh god, it's my number 5, Austin.
Yeah, I don't blame you. In this one, Georgie is like more than any other song in this thing. I think Nikogda is one that puts him in the spotlight.
Yes, it does.
In this one, he's in the spotlight. The other band members step back into the darkness a little bit. It's not that they're not there. It's just that the focus is Georgie. Like, this is supposed to be a more intimate song.
The spotlight is on him on the theater stage. Everybody else is in the background. They're there.
Again, we're reviewing a produced album, not the theater stage.
Yeah, I know, but from his background, that's where I lean towards.
I like it a lot. I think it's a really nice difference from the other album. I think the build-up in this song is also really good. Like, he does a great job of trying to deliver the emotion through the singing. There's a great point in the song where the brass comes in, and it has a perfect tonal shift into a different thing for the ending of the song.
Yeah.
It's really slick.
It does a great job transitioning to the next track. I think from Nikogda into Traktor, I think that's the best transition.
The only thing I would say is that it's another one of these ones where it seems like they had a rough time with an ending, but that's it.
Okay. I guess I can see that. So are we done with Nikogda? You want to talk about Traktor?
Yeah, we'll see if we can figure out what this one is in English.
Yeah, right? This one's so complicated. Track 9 is Traktor. People love this song, Austin.
I know people do it. I'm not sure why. I have a lot of the same issues I have with this one as I do with Hammer Drive.
It's kind of like a meme. It's kind of like their most meme song.
Yeah. It's a song about a tractor.
Traktor, Traktor. You wanna read some of these lyrics? Traktor is a motor machine. Tires are giving smoke from the acceleration.
So the song always makes me think of something. I think it is in Sweden.
I am Inga from Sweden.
Where in Sweden, I believe kids who are not yet old enough to drive often drive around town on tractors. I believe they use them as a way of driving around.
Okay. I've never lived in Sweden, so I can't back this up.
This always makes me think about that. I believe it's Sweden. But it's like, is this something that happens in, like, other European countries as well? Where it's just like, we'll do a big bumpin' song about tractors because there might be younger kids out there who can only drive tractors around.
They need to blast this from the radio while they're in their tractors.
Of their tractors.
I love the main riff on this, though. The riff is sick. And it does a really good job of being a loud driving type of song than Hammer Drive did. I think Traktor does it way better.
I think Traktor is better than Hammer Drive. For me, I don't love the real heady and consistent timing with it. I do appreciate the memeability. I do appreciate that, and it's got some really silly stuff in it.
I like the really ominous breakdown in the middle, too. That's really cool.
The interesting breakdown is the only thing in the song that I really find worth anything to me, personally.
Okay, we have differing opinions because this is my number 3, Austin.
We really do have differing opinions.
Welcome back to the Rude Boys podcast, where Kyle puts Traktor at his number 3.
Good God.
It's fun. It's a fun song.
It's fun. It's
really good. They love playing it live.
It's memeable.
So clearly, people have a good time.
There are other meme songs that I like better as memes and as songs. Traktor is not the one.
But in Russkaja, Austin, from this album to now, they still play Traktor live.
I know. I don't know why people like it, but they do, so it's fine.
Well, you're wrong, Austin. All right, let's just...
I dissent from the typical Russkaja audience on Traktor.
All right, that's fine. You know what? As long as you see the value in the next song, we can talk about that. You ready?
I did, yeah.
We're going to talk about track 10, Ogonki.
Я нарисую свою мечту и картинку тебе эту подарю. Ты на ней увидишь мое кино в твоей голове.
Ogonki.
Okay, so do I see the value in the song? It's my number 1.
There it is! I was wondering.
I assume you would actually know that that's what I would pick for my number 1 immediately.
I did not guess exactly. I figured it would have been either this or Polosa.
Huh.
That was going to be my guess for your
That's
number 1. But I'm glad Ogonki ended up being the one because this is like the most reggae sounding song they have. And it's the longest song on the album, but it never drags.
Yeah.
It feels perfectly paced and it's tightly written. I really like Ogonki. It snuck onto my number 4. God, it's great. You want to talk about me Ogonki?
This one is another one that has like such a great atmosphere and like moody thing going about it.
Yeah. Very similar to Nikogda.
Again, we have Georgie here singing more than screaming, and it's brilliant. The bass on the song is really great, and the light guitar is also clean. The combination. I don't know if you noticed it.
Oh yeah, the guitar work on this track is like some of the best.
I don't know if you noticed it, but like when he does the chorus, I believe it's when it's doing the chorus, and he's singing, the guitar will do like a light, really reverby, lighter notes where it goes up. So the guitar will be like ding, 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 like as he's doing his chorus, and it really elevates it.
Yeah, I remember what you're talking about.
It gives it like a light ethereal quality to it, which I really fucking love. It's a really great little thing to add in it. It really fucking does it.
Oh, luckily this one has translatable lyrics, sort of.
Yeah, this one is about like, I get the picture of him like having to leave somebody and being like, I'll remember you and all this shit.
Yeah, it's about sharing a dream with someone and to cherish it for the moment. And it also mentions flying in the starry sky. That's it. I'm not an expert in the language, but I love this song, so I tried my best.
Mm-hmm. This one has some band members doing some chorus backing. So when Georgie does his song, they're in the background going and it's great.
It's so good.
It's a really fucking tight song. The pacing is on top again. The pacing is so good in it.
Maybe I should swap this for Traktor and let Traktor before.
Having Traktor before this is really something.
Well, that just goes to show how much fun I think it is.
The tone is great. The tone is very cohesive throughout the entire song.
It is really just perfectly paced.
It's interesting and complex, but it's not like distractingly so.
No, not at all. It never feels like it drags. That's what I wrote in my notes. Never.
This song is the longest one, and it deserves to be the longest one on the album.
Yeah, they clearly spent a lot of time giving us a lot of cool shit in it. So, Ogonki, great track, dude.
The violin work, the guitar work is all really great. It really just, it's so good. Like, I think this is easily my number 1 by a long mile.
Goddamn, dude. I'm fucking hats off to you. You picked a good one. You picked a really good one. I can't say shit about that. All right. We do have differing opinions, though, but do we have differing opinions on track 11, Leto Leto?
I think this one translates to summer.
Okay.
Like summer.
I didn't even look up the lyrics for this one. It's one of the more folk metal sounding tracks. Like, it has a really hardcore guitar riff to it, and it has some cool horns to complement it. But I think the mixing is kind of boring on this track. I would have liked to see a more interesting song pulled out of this concept and structure, but it's mostly screaming and guitar focused. He gets a growl. He gets the guttural in
Oh
there
yeah,
at the end.
he's on it for that one. This one has another one of those endings where it's just like, and it's over.
It's over! Yeah, and yep, It's cool enough to stay on the album, but it's not in my top 10 either.
It's got a really catchy guitar line.
Yep.
Very energetic vocals, as we said. I think the backing to the chorus is really good. We have a great violin breakdown in this song.
I was going to say, the really cool string breakdown on this definitely keeps me from skipping it. This is my debatable skip.
Yeah.
This is my one where I have some parts about it I really, really like, but I just wanted it to be better, you know? But it deserves to be on the album. It's good on the album.
I think it could be better. I think this is still a really good song that has a slow build and a good, like, grand overall feeling to it. It's my number 5, but my 5 is kind of a little tied. It's really close.
Okay, all right, that's fair. I've heard of that before. I don't think I would put it at 5, that's for sure. But I put Traktor at 3, so maybe I'm the wrong one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe you are.
maybe you are, Kyle. Maybe you're just not a fan of Jared Leto. I think the next song debatably is one of the silliest on the album, but it's really good.
Sputnik? Yeah, Go Sputnik.
Go Sputnik. We don't need to.
Yeah.
We don't need to translate this one. This one has a lot of English in it too.
Super fun horn line, though. I love the
Yeah.
horn line on Go Sputnik. I like the breakdown, the metal guitars near the end, similar to Leto Leto. It's got a really cool riff, but other than that, I think it's just all right.
It's not as complex or interesting as other songs, but it's got really great momentum. The momentum on this
Yes,
one is
it does.
really good. And it's a shorter song too, so it's not like it's hanging around and like
Sputnik higher than the sun.
go raketo fly my Sputnik high up to the sky. It's great.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
It's really good. It's literally about the Soviet Union winning the space race by launching the Sputnik 1.
Very good, very funny. Also has another great guitar violin breakdown in it.
Yes, I did mention that. Great, good fucking shit. I like this better than Leto Leto for sure. I don't know if this is supposed to be a joke song, but it's cool either way. I like that it exists.
Just the English chorus. It does. I don't care if it's intentionally a goofy song. It is a goofy song to us.
Yeah.
And it's great. But yeah, like we said, it's not super interesting. I think it's good. I don't think it would come off the album. It's interesting, but it's There's not a lot of time. There's not a lot.
It's fine. It's fine. We've covered it. So we don't talk about 13 Polosa.
So Polosa, this is the one that's kind of a close 5th for me, almost.
Okay, see, I was close.
This one has very interesting vocals for George.
He starts out pretty quiet, but he ends up belting it.
It's very unusual for him. This is the only time he sounds like this on the album.
Yeah, I thought you'd be into it.
I am into it. I love atmospheric music, and this is another one where they're just like, they have a feeling they want to go for and they nail it.
This is one I wrote in my notes. If there's one thing anyone can say about this band, is that we can appreciate Georgie's insane vocal range. He's got range.
Dude, yeah, he does, man. So there's a few interesting, like the staccato guitar on this is really great. So like Georgie will sing, and then we get like a really nice staccato-y guitar response to it. We have rising vocals, a rising chorus again. I love it. And I think the only saxophone on the album shows up in this track.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it has a fantastic saxophone on this. I was surprised to hear that, but there's no crediting on the saxophone. There's no credits for who played it. I don't know who did it. I'm gonna guess H.G. Gutenig, Hans Gale. It must be him.
Yeah, if he can play a potty, he can play a sax.
He can play a potite and a tuba, he can probably play a sax.
They just have to find a way to combine the sax into the potty.
Yeah, make it a three instrument.
So, like, it's a really good one. I hate to be always the guy who has to have, like, a fucking, like, twofer on his top 5, but like it's either Polosa or Leto Leto.
I think this deserves it. I think, this deserves to be up there, I think. I don't think I ever numbered it, but I think it would go probably near my number 7, too. It was pretty, maybe number 8.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think this could have been placed earlier in the album in terms of sequencing, because this fits really well with Wolna. This fits well with track 4, but it's all the way at the end of the album. This is near the tail end of the album. This is the second to last track, but I feel like this could have gone, we could have deserved like a longer break. Like this could have been track 5 instead of Hammer Drive.
I think you care a lot more about sequencing in albums than I do.
I know you don't have much to say about that, but I think that does make a big deal for me about when I hear it.
Yeah, I think it's another like really good song in the album lineup.
I don't feel super engrossed by Polosa. I wrote in my notes, it kind of glides along in a way I'm not super into, but there's a lot of cool redeeming qualities to it.
We forgot to mention Polosa translates to band.
Oh, sorry, yeah. The Polosa translates to band.
I didn't find any vocals for it, but I'm assuming...
Many lyrics.
Yeah, it's probably about the band, maybe.
Maybe we can hit up Russkaja on Twitter and ask what is Polosa about. We couldn't find lyrics.
Speaking of a thing I couldn't translate, the next and final track on the album is Hep Hep. I am assuming it is an onomatopoeia, because if it is not, the closest thing I can find is an anti-Semitic slur. So I'm assuming it is not that.
I'm assuming it's another way to say like, hey, because it has those in the album. It has those in the song.
Just an onomatopoeia for general.
It's just a bouncy song. So instead of like a long closer like we've had other albums have, this one's just another bouncy, fun song that you can dance to. And I wouldn't have it any other way with Russkaja. It's very appropriate.
This is a good ending song, I think.
Mm-hmm. They got some wild guitar licks in here.
We'll say Hep Hep roughly translates to pick it up.
This is the pick it up song.
This one has got really great backing stuff going on at the opening. Straight into the vocals, it's brilliant. The drum work on it, very clean, very great.
The horns on this song are some of my favorites on the whole album. So they really they blast on this track.
Yeah, they really do. They really get in there.
It doesn't quite make my top 5, but I'm really glad that it's in here. I would probably also squeeze in. Look, there's a lot of tracks on this album. It's hard to just say some of them are like low on the totem pole when everyone's competing for the top 10 spot. Basically, they're all competing.
Yeah, I mean, like, you have to be in the better 2/3 of the album just to make the top 10. And that's difficult when the whole album is of such quality.
Yeah, and it's tight, too. Like, it never drags.
It's really tight.
It's really fun to dance to. So Hep Hep is great. Like, even when you think... this is like the encore song. You think Polosa would be, like, the end of the album, but they're like, no, we got one more for you! Yeah,
so, again, amazing singing from our man. This is another one with all the hep-hepping, like... This is one that would dramatically be improved by being in live, but we're doing a
dramatically
dramatically better live.
Yes, I hard agree. Obviously, why are we listening to this in a studio? Can we get live performance, please?
They edited in more bar ambiance for me, I guess.
Yeah. I don't even notice that stuff, but Austin is like, oh, that's for me. They put that in for me.
You just do a little glass clinking in it for me, and a little bit of mumbling. It was great. I really like the staccato, plucky violin breakdown that they did. And
that's in this track too.
This song has the only a guitar solo, and it doesn't stop. The guitar solo goes on for
It's the whole ending of the song.
It's the whole ending of the song, and then they just do a verse. They do the final chorus on top of the guitar solo as it continues going because it's guitar.
Cool.
It's cool. It's great. The guitar is just unconcerned about the rest of the song. It's doing its
sick.
own thing now.
Yeah.
It's really great.
That's Engel, dude. Engel Meyer. There he is. Shout outs to our boy Engel.
Engel gets to get off the leash for one song and he goes nuts.
Yeah, still in the band, still playing like a fucking madman. But that's the whole album, dude. So do you want to real quick recap our top 5s? You go first. 5-1, yeah.
So I've got Leto Leto and Polosa at a 5 spot on this one here. Then I've got Gulaj Duscha.
Gulaj Duscha.
Gulaj Duscha.
Yep.
I've got Wolna is a number 3. I've got Swoboda for my number 2.
I still can't believe that.
Perfectly makes sense. Perfectly good.
Alright.
And then Ogonki for number 1, easily.
Okay. All right. That's pretty good. Honestly, that's a good list. I think my top 5 is not quite as good, apparently, because I went with the mainstream ass single type songs. So I got number 5 is Nikogda. That's the one that I think doesn't blend in with the rest of what I just said. But number 4, Ogonki. Number 3 is Traktor. That's the one where Austin disagrees, but I think it's fucking fun as shit, so I put it in here.
It is fun.
Number 2 is Change. I'm surprised Change is not even in your top 5 when it's such a fucking single song.
Like I said, it was going to be the number 6 easily.
Okay, that's fine.
I had it as listed for 5 for a minute, and then it just got supplanted, so...
And then number 1 is Ras Dwa Tri for opening the album. So fucking great. It's a great opener. I love that shit. Clearly, look how much I value that. Every other song that's in my top 5 is great, but it's not an opener. And that's the opener. And it's great. It's amazing. But overall, that's a solid album right there. Russian Voodoo, 47 minutes long, no skips. It's just good. It's a good album.
It's a really killer album.
It's not as mind-blowing as I thought it would be. It's not their best album, in my opinion, but it is really culturally enriching. That's what I wrote in my notes.
Yeah, so whenever I look for an album to recommend for the show, I am not doing it from a place where it's I'm not going for the Hello Rock views of a band. I'm not looking for Fury of the Aquabats of a band. I'm looking for just whatever I've been listening to. And Russian Voodoo is what I've been listening to. So
that's good.
Whatever I naturally come across where I'm just yes.
We should talk about this.
Yeah, we should talk about this. I like this. So it's an interesting thing. It's cool because it's what I know. It's what I'm familiar with the most because I naturally came across it. And also, just giving you a fucking random album from an artist, if we recommend it as highly as we've done with Russkaja, and there are better albums.
What?
Go find them, dude.
Do it.
Do it.
Yeah. I did. The good news is I did. I looked up the rest of their discography and I was like, well, shit, man, this is a great band. Yeah. Thanks, Austin. Big ups.
Other thing we should mention about the band. One thing I love in a band, specifically ska bands, is when they do covers. I think we both have soft spots for covers.
We brought this up so many times.
We brought it up once before in episode 6.
Twice, 2. You brought it before on another episode. You brought it on episode 2, I think.
Yeah, so Russkaja has got really great cover songs. They're really funny. They sound exactly like all the other music they do.
That is to say good.
Good. Really good. Exactly same sound. But it's an Avicii song. So totally look around and give our boys some attention. Donate to them. Donate to them if you can.
And girls. The violinist does great work too. I mean, for a fucking folk ska band, I've never imagined. I mean, in all my years of listening to ska, I never think I'd hear an album with a fucking violinist, a really classically trained, talented violinist who, with some of her stuff, is the best stuff on the album. Holy shit.
There's not a single untalented person on this album or in the
band. No, not a one.
This is another Slacker situation. Everyone is fucking mental.
Yeah, there's just a few moments in the album which could have been mixed better, and I look for those kind of stuff, so which is why you probably wouldn't have really noticed. So that's why I can only give this one an 8 out of 10. I can't give it a 9 or a 10. It's not perfect. But that's good, though, because that leaves room for their later albums to improve, which they did. Their production is really good now.
To quote Kiryu from Yakuza, I would give it an 8.5. 余裕だね. Or maybe a solid 9.
Do you know where? I don't remember Kiryu saying that. What did he say that about?
I don't know. People will have to find out.
I'm gonna put in just the audio.
Made me feel good.
Visual joke that people can't see. Oh no, wait, no, I can put it. Never mind. I can put it in the episode.
Oh yeah, you can do
where
that.
Where Kiryu rates your cock.
We can't. It feels like we haven't been dumb enough on the show. We have to mention the
We're having too good a time. We need to bring in the funny dumb shit too.
We have to bring in the funny Yakuza edits.
So there it is. There's your Yakuza is now a meme on this podcast.
Oh, dude. I must have talked about how much I fucking love Yakuza, right?
No, you've never mentioned Yakuza on the podcast until just now.
Okay, fine.
This is the first thing you mentioned.
There we go. Now is the time, because there might be people listening who don't know.
It is now time.
Now it is time.
I picked up Yakuza 0 years ago after playing Mafia 2.
That's what?
I played Mafia 2, and I was like, I like this gangster game. And I was like, I want another one. But Mafia 3, I don't have yet, or it hasn't existed yet. I can't remember.
It's not good. Mafia 3 is not good. It's out.
But I was like, Yakuza. Yakuza, they're a mafia, and Japan, I know that place. I will purchase Yakuza 0, for it is cheap, and I shall play it, expecting it to be just like Mafia 2, where I am a serious mafia boy trying to make his way in the city. And
but it's a Sega game. So.
And I got Yakuza 0 instead. I got Yakuza 0 instead, where you play the best protagonist and fictional character ever, Kiryu Kazuma.
Kazuma Kiryu, yeah.
Who is like the best. He's just the best perfect Boy Scout boy, who is also a Yakuza, and get up to all kinds of crazy, silly shit in Kamurocho, and you do all these crazy fucking side plots, and I think the stories in these games are fucking sick, dude.
It's literally a fucking soap opera. It's so fucking funny. It's entertaining.
So good.
It's got good gameplay, you know. Honestly, this is the time. Just tell people to go play Yakuza 0.
It's got great music too.
Just please play Yakuza 0.
Play Yakuza 0.
Game.
It is.
You can find it for like dirt cheap.
Chronologically, the first game. It's an amazing starting point.
Yeah, you just really want to play 0 first anyway. The other Yakuza games are good, but 0 is the one that gets everybody into the game, into the series.
So I played Yakuza 0. I fucking loved it. I put like 100 hours into that game.
You played a lot, yeah.
And then, you know, I only had a PC at the time. So it's like, what shall I do now? Luckily, Kiwami.
The remakes. Kiwamis are the remakes of the older games.
Of Yakuza 1. Yakuza 1 looks like a potato now. But also, I was surprised because when I played Kiwami, which looks fucking phenomenal, dude.
Yeah, it's in the same engine as Yakuza 0.
I saw a comparison between Ryuji Goda from the second Yakuza game, comparing him from his PS2 game to the Kiwami game.
2. Yeah.
And it's so ridiculous. It's unbelievable how good he looks in Kiwami 2. So, like, I played Kiwami. I'm like, great, love it. Here's another 60 hours. And I was like, well, what should I do now?
Here's another 60.
Kiwami 2 now, I guess. And I put 80 hours in that one.
You did. You really did.
And
remember this now.
And then it's like, oh, now what will I do? I have no more games. I have no more Yakuza on PC for which to play. The PS4 is on sale right now.
You bought a PS4.
I bought a PS4 specifically to play more Yakuza. And then the fucking remastered collection of 3, 4, and 5 came out.
Oh my god.
And I played all of them, and I fucking love all the extra characters they put. Okay, one thing, Yakuza 3, the least Yakuza in all of Yakuza. The story in that one is not great.
Okay.
I don't love that one. It's okay. It's fine.
Probably not gonna play it.
You can skip, probably.
Can skip 3. Got it.
4, do not skip. 4 might be my favorite game.
Wow, that's saying something.
Because
4 is your favorite over 0?
It introduces 4. You play as Kiryu. You play as Akiyama, who is the best Yakuza character. I take it back. Kiryu, number 2.
Oh, okay.
Akiyama
Wow.
is the man.
I was convinced Kiryu was the best character in the whole series.
Dude, I will tell you after the show in detail why Akiyama is like the fucking Chad King of any fictional character fucking ever.
You
He's
fucking
amazing.
love Chad. Yeah, Yakuza is a game for people who love Chad Kings. And
Oh,
yeah, that's
God,
Austin.
the whole thing,
To a T.
everyone,
The whole thing,
everyone.
everyone's a fucking...
Everyone in Yakuza is fucking a phenomenal.
Everyone who's not like a joke character is a Chad.
Yeah. If you're Kazuma Kiryu, if you're Goro Majima when he's, you know, he has some things in his past which maybe, you know, ignore. But if you're basically anyone who isn't the walking erection from Yakuza 0, you're fine. So
All right, are we good? Now that we've taken that sidetrack on how much you love Yakuza, can we save that?
I've played every Yakuza and the Fist of the North Star one, and also Judgment.
That's what you've done this year. You just played all the Yakuza games.
I have
Everything
played
that's
them all.
similar to a Yakuza game. That's what you did.
Dude, they're so good, man. I implore anyone who is still listening, play Yakuza 0. For God's sake, you owe it to yourself.
I'll section this off. Don't worry. If people want to hear you talk about Yakuza, here it is. There you go. So now that we've talked about Russkaja and Yakuza, I want to get into picking the next album, which is my pick next.
You've been teasing it to me.
I teased it a little bit. What were my hints I dropped? Do you remember?
You're like, we're taking this shit old school.
Yeah, we're taking this shit old school.
And none of the bands I mentioned apparently were right, so.
Yeah, you didn't mention it, the exact one. I said we talked about it on the first episode, but then never again.
Huh.
We talked about this band on the first episode when we were doing the origin, the history story of ska, but we have not mentioned them since, and I think it's about time. I think 2020 has been a really stressful year. I think it's time we simmer down, Austin. We're going to be listening to the Skatalites.
Yeah, Skatalites are some good shit, dude. I think we're going to have fun with that. Do we have a specific album?
Yeah, we're going to be talking about Foundation Ska. This is the 1996 collection of everything they made in the mid-60s, and that was also reissued on Amazon in like 2006, I want to say. It was reissued like 10 years later with a different wrong track list, but we're going to be using the original one.
All right, cool.
I have the track list here, don't worry. It's big, it's huge, it's everything they've made. It's like all the good shit, and they only made it in a couple years.
How many tracks?
You ready for how many tracks there are?
Like 30?
There's 32, yeah.
Wow.
But the good news is, most of them are instrumentals, so...
Okay, I don't think we're going to do a track by track on that one.
No, probably not. But I would love to talk about it and just listen to some fucking... just chill music, dude. I want to go back to our roots. I want to get out of my comfort zone, because I always pick fucking ska punk albums. I don't have enough fucking range in my stuff, and I wanted to pick something that we could just put this shit on loop in your house, on a vinyl, and just relax. I wanted to put something like that.
That's a good fucking choice, my man. That is a good choice.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it, man. And that's it for the rest of this episode of the Rude Boys Podcast. Here's to season 2, dude. Here's to the rest of 2020. Hopefully it's not that bad as it has been so far. And here's to season 2 of the Rude Boys Podcast. I've been
season
Kyle Long.
Season 2. Season 2. Season 2. Season 2. Okay, I guess that's it.